bum biddy bum. You can manage those words, I think. Yes? Bum biddy bum, 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 bum. Think you got that part? Ish? Okay. New part. And I'm going to try really hard to not do it as written, but with Lila Lies. You also know Lila Lies, right? La la la, 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 la la la. You can pick your favorite part. Bum biddy bum, 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 la la la, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la together. Bum biddy bum, 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 bum biddy bum. Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to see all of you, and I'm glad that some of you are joining online as well. I forget to say that every week, but I am glad when you join every week online, although I miss seeing your faces. We are going to begin our Shabbat service with the lighting of Shabbat candles. Actually, we're not going to begin the service with Shabbat candles. We are going to begin the service on page 6. This is our Refugee Shabbat, Hias's seventh annual Refugee Shabbat. And it's hard to believe that if it's the 7th annual Refugee Shabbat, then that means that the first one was in 2018, which coincided, that Shabbat, with the shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue. My synagogue in Pittsburgh was a few blocks down the street and hosting a Refugee Shabbat then that Friday night, but our building was, I guess, a little bit more secure, and so we were spared, but the Tree of Life Synagogue and the three congregations there were not. That was a side note, just as I'm thinking about this being the seventh one. But I remember that Shabbat starting with this prayer on page 6. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. Together, may it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We'll continue with the lighting of Shabbat candles, and Marlene and John, can I invite you to do that? We're on pages 3 and 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat. Amen.
Amen.
Page 14. Paragraph of Hebrew. page 20 and 21. L'chadodi. We'll sing verses 1 to 5 and 9. And on the 9th verse, rise and face the entrance. may be seated. Page 26, Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal ve'yitkadosh shemei Rabbah Ve'alman divrach hirutei ve'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon uvyomechon Uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'gala ba'gala Uvizman kariv V'imberu amen Yeheshmei Rabbah mevarach Le'alam ulal me'al maya Yitbarach Yitbarach ve'yishtabach V'yitpar v'yitromam ve'yitnaseh Ve'yitadar v'yitaleh ve'yitalal Shemei dekudasham brichu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran be'alma v'imuru. Amen. Please rise and body your spirit for Baruch Hu, page 28. A poem by Rabbi Ahuva Zaks. Beneath a broken street lamp, shards of glass and remnants of humanity linger on the sidewalk. A hungry child cries out for food. A widow walks with tears in her eyes, but in her heart there is still hope for peace. When will the fighting end? Her children ask wearily. She answers patiently, when anger gives way to compassion, when hatred gives way to love, when darkness gives way to light. Promise me one thing, my children. Promise me that you will always act in ways that fill the world with compassion, light, and love. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravi. Page 32. תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. Page 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Sometimes we sing the words Ozi v'zimrat ya, these words that come from Shirat Hayam, the song of the sea. Ozi, my strength. V'zimrat ya, God is my strength and my song. Standing on the far shore of the Sea of Reeds, our ancestors sang in honor of their own aching muscles, sore from slogging through the mud of the seafloor. And they sang in honor of the miracle of their freedom. Ozi v'zimrat ya vayhili lishua, my strength and God's song rescued me. Every time Jews have fled from persecution and oppression, from the Inquisition, from the Tsars, from Ethiopia, from Hitler and beyond, it has taken our own labor and effort, our own aching muscles and bleeding fingers, and it has taken miracles. Not every miracle is as visible or dramatic as the parting of the sea. Sometimes a miracle is an extra space found in a caravan or on a ship, a kind neighbor sharing food or hiding children, paperwork lost or paperwork found. Sometimes a miracle is being welcomed in by strangers who became friends. As we remember the effort and the miracle that brought us out of Egypt, we commit ourselves to being the miracles for the newcomers in our midst, to offering the support and welcome once extended to our ancestors, to those most in need of it today. We commit to lifting their burdens, easing their efforts, and being for them a song of God. Page 40.
Bye.
Adonai et Yaakov, ungelo miad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Page 43 and 42. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 44. And you'll see on the bottom of page 45 these words from Achad Ha'am. There's a Siddur from Temple Emmanuel of Beverly Hills, which is where I spent many Shabbat mornings during rabbinical school, and it has a picture of a man in a cellar. I think it's described somewhere else in this Siddur, but there was the actual picture in the New Emmanuel Minyan Siddur. A man sitting in the cellar of a tenement building, lighting Shabbat candles. It's a very humble dwelling. Crate is the table that the candles are set on. And with it is written this line from Achad Ha'am, one of the Yiddish writers in Eastern Europe: more than the Jewish people has kept Shabbat, Shabbat has kept the Jewish people. השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Bryn, we are 1 week away. Yeah. Come on up. As we turn to the Amidah, beginning on page 46. Oh, thank you. I'd like to invite up Bryn, our soon-to-be bat mitzvah, to lead us in the Amidah. Please rise in body or spirit.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi angi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imot, u'mevin Geulah livnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol atah rav le'hoshia, mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim ve'rofech cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mekayem emunato l'shemei afar, michamocha bal gevurot, u'mito melach, melech memit u'mechayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua, ve'ne'eman atah lachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yahallelu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We continue with our private prayers. If you are following along in the Siddur, don't forget that it is Rosh Chodesh Adar, and so there's an insertion. When you've finished with your prayers, you may be seated. page 349. Hannah Senesh, who wrote those words, at least the Hebrew words, was herself a refugee who fled the Nazis to pre-state Israel and then went back as a paratrooper. Unfortunately, she was caught, she was captured and killed on that rescue mission that she was on, but we still sing her words, her beautiful poetry. And with the prayers of our hearts so poignant and so strong within us these days, we think of those who also have prayers in their hearts for wholeness and for healing. If there's someone that you're thinking of on this Shabbat, I invite you to share their names with us at this time. Lindsay Clecan.
Charles Watkins, Richard Watkins, Benjamin Saltov from the Saltov family, Stephanie Richardson and the Richardson family, Nora Hacker and the Hacker family, Herb Levine, Sonia Hanstead, Sean Ruthel, David Shelby, Angela Smith and Tammy Sorrow, Michael Leonard, the people of Ukraine, the people of Lebanon and Syria, the people of Israel, the people of Palestine, and our unhoused neighbors.
Nick, Charlie, Milo. Misha Barach can be found on page 253.
Mekor
take time to offer gratitude for moments of blessing from the past week. If anyone has any. Did I scare Bryn away?
There were two good moments, maybe great moments for refugees this week when a judge in Seattle put a stop to, or I should say, restored the funding to immigrant aid funding. And the city of Tacoma passed an ordinance protecting immigrant rights. So, a bit of good news there.
This week I had a very healing, warm conversation with an estranged family member. It was awesome.
I got a haircut.
My oven failed me, and I had to call a repair person. Very nice man. He comes in, opens up his laptop, looks at the manual, told me that I had inadvertently set my oven to Sabbath setting. It had been celebrating Shabbat for 8 days, but I can now bake again.
It's like Hanukkah, but not quite.
My son, Jeremy in Brooklyn, got a clean bill of health today for the first time in 8 years.
I took some time to enjoy the probably false spring, and I was able to go for a run through Wright Park in just shorts instead of sweatpants for the first time this year.
At school today, I found out I made honor roll.
For all this and more, we say Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha ulechana elehodot. Praised are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are deserving of blessing. And while we are speaking of good news, before I forget, because I'm bound to if I don't do it right now, the prayer for Rosh Chodesh. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu. This is on page 261. Shetechadesh aleinu et hachodesh hazeh letova v'livracha v'titen lanu chayim arukim, chayim shel shalom, chayim shel parnasa, chayim shetehevanu ahavat Torah v'yirat shemayim, chayim sheyimalu mishalot libenu letova. Amen. Do you want those good things? Okay, there we go. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Adar, the new month of Adar, Hu Hayom, begins today. Interestingly, yesterday was also, or today, the daylight hours from last night until sundown was also Rosh Chodesh Adar, but actually the 30th of Shvat, the last day of Shvat, and today is really officially actually the first day of Adar. And because of someone's question, I went into a whole deep dive of yahrzeits that occur that happen during a leap year, what happens when it's not a leap year, and how even someone who, if twins were born during a leap year, one of them on the 30th of Adar 1, which is Rosh Chodesh Adar 2, and the other one, right, just a few minutes later, a few hours later, right, between the sun being up and sunset, the second one being born after sunset on the first day of Adar 2, their bar mitzvah would be a month apart, and the younger one would have it first. It's so confusing because Adar 1 is the extra month, not Adar 2. Went down a whole rabbit hole. Fun fact. John mentioned that this week a judge in Seattle ruled that the executive order stopping all refugee admissions and processing was unlawful, at least until other things, potentially until other things get figured out, but at the very least, there's a pause on the ban, which is confusing to say, but there's a pause on the ban. I was at the courthouse listening to the case along with Marlene and John. I was invited through my ongoing relationship and work with HIAS, with what used to be known as the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society. When it was started as the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, it was an organization to bring Jewish refugees to America. Yes, but go to my office. Sorry about that. As the head of HIAS, Mark Hetfield, said, HIAS used to bring in refugees who were Jews, and now they work to bring in refugees because we are Jews. The refugees that they bring in are not generally Jewish. Most of them are coming from Iraq and Central Africa, a couple of other places. But we still have this strong tradition of having been refugees. We actually read those words in Deuteronomy. And so we continue to work to bring in refugees and to support refugees who are here. And I'd like to invite up Marlene to read words from Gloria Mayer. Gloria and Marlene, and who else went?
John and Jackie and Jackie's friend.
Okay, and John and Jackie Kleiner went last month on Martin Luther King Day, if I'm remembering correctly.
It was the inauguration day.
Okay, or Inauguration Day, January 20th, to a pro se asylum clinic, and had the opportunity to work with people who are seeking political asylum. And so these are Gloria's words. Gloria is on vacation and couldn't be here, but wanted to share her experience of having sat with and worked with one of the people who is being served.
Shabbat Shalom. So as Rabbi said, this is Gloria's experience. She was the only one that was able to translate from Spanish. So John and Jackie and Jackie's friend Barbara and I, we were simply copy runners, and we did jobs that didn't require anything important like translating. So here I go. This is Gloria's in Mexico, by the way. Thank you to Rabbi Gorbin for asking for my thoughts on this experience of working to assist those seeking political asylum. On January 20th, which was Inauguration Day, I volunteered with me, John, and Jackie in Seattle at the Pro Se Asylum Legal Clinic through the Jewish Coalition for Immigrant Justice. We participated in a training via Zoom previous to the event, and she was selected to serve as an interpreter and work with a form filler and an applicant for political asylum. Her role, so I'm trying to change this so that it makes sense. Okay, my role as an interpreter and work with a form filler and an applicant for political asylum. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. My role was to interpret the words the applicant said for the form filler. We were instructed in the training that it was very important to be aware of the traumatic memories and experiences some of the applicants would be sharing and be compassionate, respectful, and make them feel safe. I worked with a man from Venezuela who had worked with the government as a voting booth assistant. His job was to bring people from little towns nearby who were mostly illiterate, offer them transportation and a bag of groceries, in exchange convince them to vote for the revolutionary and military officer Hugo Chavez for president. My applicant for political asylum, who I will call Jose, had agreed to participate in this form of corrupt activity with the hopes of getting a job with the government that could earn him better pay in an extremely poor country. Soon after he started, he realized how wrong he was to do this work and decided to quit his job. He did not think he would face repercussions for quitting. However, immediately he and his family started to receive threats. He was told that they were going to burn down his mother's home where he was living. The people threatening him tried to force him to take his job back so that he could not be a witness against them. Living in fear, he fled his country with no resources, leaving behind everything familiar, his home, his family, and the life he had built. Staying meant facing further persecution, violence, or death. His journey took him to several other countries in South America, and years later, while he was in Chile, and now with a family of his own, he was recognized by one of his former perpetrators from Venezuela. They continued to threaten and harass him, even though he was living in another country. The political and economic crisis in Venezuela had made survival nearly impossible, and returning was not an option. His attempts to move to the U.S. were made to finally find peace after years on the run. As I learned more about his struggles, I realized that applying for asylum was about giving someone an opportunity to rebuild a life with dignity and hope. Working with this refugee made me feel that helping and showing mercy to someone who so desperate was a human responsibility. The asylum process itself is an act of mercy, where governments and individuals recognize that some people need protection, a chance to escape oppression, and the opportunity to start anew. Asylum provides people like Jose with a path forward instead of forcing them back into a dangerous situation. After leaving Chile, Jose went to Mexico and ultimately applied to pursue asylum in the U.S. He had gone through very complex legal processes and emotional hardships, and without guidance, he felt defenseless. After completing his application and going through the details of his case, it was recommended by the attorneys that it would not be in his best interest to continue with the application because of the lack of evidence. He had no way to prove that these things had happened to him, and so he would most likely be denied. It was heartbreaking for me to witness his disappointment as he learned his case was not a strong one to be presented in front of a judge. It's very sad.
Thank you. And this is what we are fighting for with trying to ensure that there is a refugee process and one that allows people who are fleeing harm to find a place of safety. What we learned from, so just a couple of clarifying definitions, just in case it's not clear. An asylum seeker is someone who leaves their country, comes to another country, and tries to find safety as a refugee, but is not yet a refugee. They are just seeking asylum. Once they go through the whole process and are accepted for asylum in that country, they become refugees. So Jose was basically told, you can't find refuge here, at least not legally. And as people who know very well that story, we are still in the midst, in our Torah reading, of telling that story of fleeing to safety, but still being in limbo, right? The 40 years in the wilderness are that period of limbo, of having left a place that was dangerous, but not yet being in a place that is safe. And next week we will even read about some of the difficulties. Next week is Shabbat Zachor, right, Bryn? And Bryn will actually read a section about Amalek, the leader of a tribe that attacked the Israelites who were fleeing from behind. So that he and his people were attacking, his army were attacking the women and children and elderly. That this is part of the difficulty of fleeing to safety, finding asylum, finding refuge, is that it's just not safe. And we need to make sure as Jews and as a nation that is built out of many people who have sought refuge, that we have doors that are open to all those who need it. I am not entirely sure who is going to be giving the announcements. Aaron, okay. When you're hidden behind the booth, it's hard to... Okay. Oh, let me turn this off. I like your note.
Yeah, I like it. So, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good to see you all, and of course, all those online as well. As my note says here, it says Purim, 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 and a little bit of Passover. That's pretty much what the announcements are. As you can't tell, Purim is approaching rather quickly. So, are we still needing people to do spiel? Yes. Always welcome. Okay, the first thing on my light, even highlighted, rehearsals have begun. What's that? Oh, okay, so we've added Sunday. Okay, so rehearsals have begun, so the head nodding and the oh yes means we still need people and love to have more. So Wednesdays is the, so 7:15 to 8:30 be rehearsals, and then also Sunday, you said? And Sundays at 2 as well. So please, in this room right here, show up for a little bit of fun and enjoyment, and we'll all get to kick back and watch you put on a wonderful spiel, I'm sure, which will be coming up on the 13th, Thursday the 13th. Next thing on here, I highlighted a few other things. Again, announcements. Before I continue, I'm going to pass over some of them. But in the what we call the order of worship, although it's not the order of worship, we have to come up with another name, is the announcements on the back side. Also, a Shabbat Shalom email went out to everybody who's on that list. If you're not, please contact the office. It's just a weekly email that goes out. And also the beautiful, Olivia does such an amazing job with our bulletin that just came out this week as well. This will all be in there. So, back to the announcements. Sisterhood has their general meeting Tuesday, March 14th. That's for Sisterhood members and guests. March, did I say 14th? 4th. Yes, thank you. And then also, on Thursday, March 6th, I said a little bit of Passover, a cooking leek patties for Passover. So this is going to be joining Shelley DeLeon to make some Sephardic leek patties. It sounds extremely good, and maybe it's just because I'm hungry. Which the next one is the Sisterhood Hamantash and Bake. That is on Sunday, March 9th. So not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, pretty much all day, 9:45 to 4. The school will be helping out. The school will be helping, so the religious school, but they also need adults. And I think I had on here, adults are required to have a current food handler's license. So make sure you do have that. Just don't do, believe that. I've done it before, but it's the health department, I believe. Then we get to the actual Purim. So the spiel will be on Thursday the 13th. But beforehand, we do have a schmooze before the spiel. That's from 5 to 7. That is open for guests 18 and older. Those 21 and older will get a special wristband because you can then have some alcoholic beverages. And so just need to register. And there is childcare for if you do have young kids and want to attend that. Just make sure you register beforehand for childcare so we know what to expect. And then Sunday, the following Sunday, is the Purim Carnival. That is 9:30 to 1. Tickets are $18 per family for non-members. Members, that is the Temple Beth members, if you have a membership, is free, but of course donations are always greatly appreciated. That's what I have. Shabbat Shalom.
And during the carnival, for $18, you will be permitted to throw a pie in my face. So the 14th, which is the Friday, Shabbat, and into Shabbat, is Pie Day, and and because that is actually Purim, I figured I'd take a little bit of the Purim Pie Day confluence and bring it into the carnival on the 16th. So I did volunteer myself for this. My hope is that most people don't have good aim. I mean, the pie is really just going to be whipped cream. I don't mind whipped cream. As we turn to Aleinu, I want to offer an English version of Aleinu that I thought particularly appropriate for this refugee Shabbat. It's by Cantor Ellen Druskin and Dan Nichols. You do not have words for it, and you are welcome to stand as you would for Aleinu, if you so choose. It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were freed to do. So what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu l'shabbeach. It's time to live our praise. We are carrying the stories of the ones who came before. What stories will be told of us when we are here no more? We commit ourselves
It's time to live our praise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise.
We turn to the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. And on this Shabbat, we think especially of those for whom we're in the period of Shloshim, Naomi Spitzer, the sister of Athalia Rosen, Mark Kenneth Brasham, the son of Marty Brasham, and Nathan Meaches, the grandfather of Ben Meaches. And we think of those whose yahrzeits occur in the coming week, especially Katie Abbott, Ray Lyon Auslander, Abe Berkowitz, Rick Bourne, Selma Branham, Adele Bronston, Solomon Bookbinder, Betty Doctor, Cantor Leah Elstein, Samuel Fingold, Gregory Golender, Morris Golan, Sigrid Nora Judy Harris, Ruth Hollander, Sylvia Hopkins, Clyde Johnson, Sharon Kay, Morris Chlorfine, Carl Mengel, William Mazoff, Rose Motola, Gertrude Reisberg, Aline Bell Robinson, Thomas Roderick, Bernard Rose, Harold Hal Rosengard, Carl Rosenthal, and Rabbi Richard Rosenthal. As we think of them, we say Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing. We honor them with the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alman divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, B'chayechon uvyomechon, uvchayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivrach le'olam u'almei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudasha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, amen. Kiddush can be found on page 5. And I'd like to invite up Bryn and anyone under the age of 13. As I spill juice all over myself. That's why I called you up and everyone under 13. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemaseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim b'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh And this is a new batch of challah with a new eggless recipe, so vegan. Eggs are super expensive. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz v'teyavon. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you to Aaron and to Karen and Deb for greeting, Vivian for setting up the oneg, and Stacy and Vivian for cleaning up.